Nancy Dawson. I'm pleased to be here with you today, telling you a little bit about the genealogies of the Bible module that's going to be upcoming presently in Accordance 12. It's a very powerful program, and just tell a little bit of my story on how I got interested in the genealogies of the Bible. I come from a scientific background. I was a professor at Western Kentucky University and also at Texas A&M, and I did scientific research. And so that detail-oriented inquiry lends itself, believe it or not, in a sort of a taxonomic way to understand the biblical relationships of people in the Bible. And it's totally fascinating, but often quite confusing to the laity or even to the scholarly community. And I started this biblical research seriously about 10 years ago. But it took just every day trying to reread literally through the Bible to understand what is the context for this person being related to this other person. And you see that there's a framework that Scripture is laid upon. So that framework is God's people, because God works with people. He doesn't really work with doctrine. He works in the lives of people, choices that they make. And so I was very interested in understanding those kinship groups, clans, tribal affiliations. And when you understand that, you understand more of the decision that one person makes, how it might have been influenced by an ancestor. Someone like Aksa is influenced by her father Caleb, who asked Joshua for land, and she herself asked for land and live waters. And you understand why people sometimes show broad support for like a king, someone like David from the tribe of Judah. So genealogies have basically two forms. One is a long linear genealogy where it's father, son, and so on, or it's depth and breadth. And that breadth is what allows for a segmented genealogy to be constructed. So the most elaborate ones in Scripture are from something like the tribe of Judah and the lineage of King David. Someone like Zerubbabel in the Old Testament, who rebuilt the temple. You see that he is part of Christ's genealogy. And of course, the Matthew and the Lucan accounts of Jesus' genealogy, when you look at them in the context of the ancestors, you can actually see how there could be possible harmonizations between those gospel accounts of Jesus' genealogy. And so Accordance has partnered with me and seen the merit of this work, and I was so happy to just get it done. And talking to Roy and Helen Brown at the ETS meetings last year, and then Joel Brown was able to transform it into this wonderful searchable program. And I just think users will be so excited if you have any question about who a person is, who they were related to, their siblings, their father, their ancestor, their descendants, and so on. You can find it in this module. So the genealogies of the Bible is a Bible tool, but they have put it under commentaries. And it's fully searchable. Basically, the title, all the references that I use to construct the genealogies, so they're not typically from one biblical passage. They are constructed across the board, and that's, to me, the beauty of the work. What I was able to contribute was to see in a fleshed out way how all these people are related. And then in accordance, you can look at the footnotes. They're searchable on any text. You can type in a person's name. Um, and I think you'll just be amazed at the power of it and how enlightening it is, because it it answers so many questions that you cannot understand as you're reading through the biblical text. What I did was I realized that I had to completely read the Bible with this in mind, and that way I could tell this person lived in this time period, something like time of the judges. Another person lived at time of the kings. Another person maybe in New Testament. They may all have the same name, but they're different people. Other times, in the same book of the Bible, in the same chapter of something like in the Chronicles, you will find that one person has two different names, but it's the same person. So obviously, the genealogical rich material is in First Chronicles 1 through 9, and I feel so blessed that the Lord helped me understand those things. So sometimes it's piety, sometimes it's prayer, but you can, if you look at it critically, like you do in science, and that's what I feel like I brought, was kind of a scientific rigor to this investigation. So I hope it will be used in accordance. I really appreciate them launching the product, and I hope it's very successful and that it will be meaningful to you as you do your ministry, as you prepare for sermons, as you teach Sunday school, as you just are trying to understand something in your own devotional time, that you will have this broader understanding because you see that God's family is where he places himself. And knowing those relationships, you will feel blessed by that. So thank you for the opportunity to share it.